Gianni.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. And by the way, thank you for saying yes to be on my channel.
Of course. Thank you.
Yeah, it's
Thank you for
my
having me.
yeah, it's an honor. This is my first time to interview actually an American.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm very honored for that. Thank you.
really, how honored.
Very.
Okay, so Jenny, let's talk about you being an athlete. So at what age did you start your sport?
I started when I was about 8 years old playing baseball, football, and basketball. Eventually, I ended up just putting the two away and I ended up just playing basketball.
So just recently.
Um, Recently, I still ran track and field and cross country, and I was fairly decent at it, but my passion is basketball.
Oh, you're really into sports. And who inspired you to love sports or do sports?
Just sports is being around with my brothers and my dad was big on sports too, so that was just like kind of just second nature with my family.
Yeah, and I heard that your dad is a coach, right?
Yes, my dad coaches the high school basketball team that I play for.
So how does it feel like having a coach dad?
It's definitely a little different. Kind of been used to it lately. But it's I mean it has its pros and cons being with I'm kind of held to a different standard than most people because he kind of hopes for me to do more than what is normal.
What is the best training or an advice given to you by your dad?
Best advice. He always told me that just not to play timid because if you're on the same court, then that's where you belong, and you should never be scared or feel inferior to anybody else.
Mm. So how do you prepare for your game?
I gotta prepare myself mentally and physically. So I like to take a hot bath and try to like relax my mind as well as my body, and always eat more nutritional foods on game days, and just try to stay centered around God always.
Wow, like that. So how do you balance your game or your sports and your acads, your academic?
It's definitely a challenge most of the time. It's kind of hard when we travel quite a bit. But last year I did go online school because I was traveling United States playing basketball. So I did have to find a time in between each to do my work as well as working out and playing basketball. So that was definitely a challenge, but my rhythm was waking up early and trying to get that done as soon as possible before I started anything.
So I know that there are different positions in the basketball game, right? So which one is you?
I play a point guard position. I try to facilitate the ball and keep everything in order with the rest of my teammates on the court.
Can you have a different position? Like say you're a point guard right now, right?
Yes. If I mean, it fluctuates quite a bit when you have other players that are, just have similar skill, where I can go to a play a bit different position because I have that assets as well as other ones.
Who is your like favorite sports hero? Is there something like you idolize? Someone you idolize?
I like my favorite NBA player would be Stephen Curry. He's definitely a pretty skilled player, and I thought he had to overcome a lot of adversity in his career.
What strategy you got from Stephen Curry?
Um, Definitely, his iconic shooting ability and just being able to stay fluid with the stay fluid with an offense and just being one of the
Mm.
best point guards of all time.
Okay. So like what do you do to relax?
To relax. What gets me in the right mindset is like I said, Jesus Christ, and I try to stay just as positive as I can. And when things don't go right, that's my my turning point to get me back on track.
Do you have like do you have sports coach?
Like I said, it's just one of the more important things is as being an undersized guard is always keeping the mindset that you do belong on the court and that nobody's better than you unless you make them better than you.
So what is your plan after high school?
After high school, I do plan to go to college in the States. I'm not too sure where yet, but I don't mind traveling across the plane. But college is definitely in my persona.
Oh, so where do you see yourself like in 5 to 10 years in terms of sports?
5 to 10 years, I do want to continue playing basketball as long as I can. So if I could play professionally somewhere overseas or even a league here in the States, that would be my biggest ideal.
What is your biggest frustration in playing basketball?
Biggest frustration.
Mhm.
Playing at a smaller school, there's a lot of some players don't aren't quite their passion. I might have, some players that play other sports. So when they're not on par and I have to keep my cool when they can't do things that I expect them that I can do.
Mhm.
So eventually I have to like, be patient, raise them to that level so that that doesn't keep happening.
So what does basketball teach you?
Basketball, it just teaches me just better habits for myself, where keeping my mental sanity and keeping staying healthy mentally and physically.
Oh, I like that. What do you think is the most important skill or attitude when you are playing basketball?
Important attitude is always keeping a positive energy because if I have a down energy, then it's gonna bring down the energy of my teammates. And if that happens, then it's just gonna be a tumbling effect and it's never gonna get any better.
Okay. At your status now, how do you handle fame, pressure?
I mean, on a smaller level, I'm not there yet. I think like there's always a bigger this isn't my goal right now. My goal is to reach it at a higher peak. So always climbing up the ladder and never staying stagnant anywhere.
How does being an athlete inspire you to do good?
Uh through I'm big on Christ and I like to center myself around God. So I like to balance myself through that. So if I my basketball is the way I like to connect and I feel is my given talent to try to spread the love. So if I can get it through that is what I try to go through.
Inspires you to give your best every single day, as in playing?
Like I said, I like to wake up in the morning and center myself with God, and I like to get myself at least in the right mindset, and it relaxes me getting through that before playing games.
How do you like give advice to young people who want to start, let's say, um, they're very hesitant to play sports?
To play sports, I do work with some kids, not just with basketball, but with any sports. Um, Definitely one of the biggest is your mindset. Whatever you put your mind to is what you're gonna get out of it. So if you play timid and scared, then you're gonna perform timid and scared always. It's just you always got to know that you belong where you are.